Good evening. We begin tonight with a critical shift in global security. As of today, the last remaining nuclear arms treaty between the United States and Russia has officially expired. This single event raises a stark and unavoidable question. Are we standing on the brink of a new nuclear arms race?
To really grasp the gravity of this moment, we have to ask a fundamental question. What happens when the rules that have governed the world's two largest nuclear arsenals for decades simply vanish? In this special report, we're going to break down exactly what has been lost and what the consequences could be for all of us.
You see, the expiration of this treaty isn't just about a broken agreement. This marks the end of an entire era. For the first time in more than 50 years, the world's two top nuclear powers are now operating without a single binding framework to limit their arsenals.
The agreement in question was the New START Treaty. It was signed back in 2010, and its mission was really twofold. First, put verifiable caps on the number of deployed nuclear warheads and their delivery systems. And second, and this is absolutely crucial, allow each country to conduct on-site inspections of the other's facilities. That transparency, well, it was the bedrock of a very fragile trust. It was a way to make sure neither side was secretly preparing a surprise.
But to really understand what today's loss truly means, we have to look back. We have to understand why these treaties were created in the first place. Their foundation, it wasn't built on friendship. It was built on a shared existential fear.
After the world saw the terrifying power of the atomic bomb, it became frighteningly clear that an all-out nuclear arms race could only end one way, with our own destruction. That shared terror became this strange, powerful force that pushed two bitter rivals, the United States and the Soviet Union, to the negotiating table. The logic was just inescapable. You either set limits or you risk mutual annihilation.
And this led to a whole series of historic agreements. The first major deals were hammered out in the 1970s. Then, in 1991, as the Cold War was ending, the START I Treaty made these deep, unprecedented cuts. New START in 2010 carried on that legacy. But as of today, that entire architecture of survival, which was built piece by painstaking piece over half a century, has been dismantled.
And these limits were not some abstract concept. There was a hard number, 1,550. That was the ceiling on deployed nuclear warheads for each side, a clear, verifiable number that provided at least some predictability in a very dangerous world. And now, that ceiling is gone.
Now, it's really important to understand that the end of this treaty isn't the cause of today's tension. It's a symptom of it. It's a reflection of a profound collapse in relations, one that has brought diplomacy to its lowest point in modern memory.
So why did it all collapse? Well, talks for a new treaty just crumbled under the weight of mutual grievances. Russia points to U.S. missile defense systems in Europe as a direct threat. The U.S., on the other hand, highlights Russia's development of new hypersonic weapons. These are missiles that travel at incredible speeds on unpredictable paths, making them almost impossible to stop. And with the war in Ukraine shattering what little diplomacy was left, and both sides accusing the other of cheating, the result is a complete and total stalemate.
The contrast between a world with this treaty and the one we have now is stark. We are shifting from an era of transparency to one of secrecy, from on-site inspections to unchecked suspicion, and from having verifiable limits to the frightening potential of an unregulated, fear-driven arms race. And this really brings us to the most crucial point. Experts agree the greatest nuclear danger isn't a deliberate, pre-planned attack. It's a war that nobody wants, one that's sparked by accident, a technical glitch, a false warning on a screen, a fatal miscalculation during a tense crisis. These treaties were the guardrails, the circuit breakers, designed specifically to prevent those exact scenarios. Those guardrails are now gone.
The impact of this collapse extends far beyond just the US and Russia. It's already creating destabilizing ripple effects across the entire globe, forcing every nation to reevaluate its own security.
The fallout creates a dangerous domino effect. Take China, which is already in the middle of a massive nuclear buildup. It now feels less pressure than ever to agree to any kind of limits. Then you've got regional powers like India, Pakistan, and North Korea. They will inevitably have to recalculate their own security needs in this more volatile world. Because when the giants abandon the rules, it sends a very clear message to everyone else. You are on your own.
And then there is the cost. A new arms race is astronomically expensive. It's like a black hole for national budgets, pulling vital resources away from things like healthcare, infrastructure, and education. It's a choice to invest in new ways of destroying the world instead of building a better one.
So here we are.
We are now entering a new and, frankly, a much more dangerous chapter. The old systems of verification and communication that gave us a measure of stability for decades have vanished, leaving us in a deeply uncertain world. So is there a path back from the brink? Experts say it has to begin with the absolute basics, reestablishing dialogue, even if it's informal, creating new ways to maintain transparency, to stop paranoia from spiraling out of control. But in a climate this toxic, these aren't really solutions for tomorrow, they are desperate hopes for a very unstable future.
Which leaves us with one final, sobering question. For 50 years, these treaties acted as a kind of buffer against the unthinkable. A flawed system, sure, but an essential one. Tonight, the world is operating without that safety net. In an era of profound mistrust and hypersonic speed, we are all left to ask, in a world without rules, who or what will stop the first mistake?